Hello everyone, Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So today we are going to be stretching out the low back, the hips, the hamstrings, and what you'll need, if you've got one, you can bring a TheraBand. If you don't have a TheraBand, you can bring a pair of yoga pants. So anything that has a little bit of a give to it. You'll also need a soft surface to lay down on. So let's go ahead and lay down. I'll meet you down on the mat. You can set your yoga pants aside for just a moment, but have them handy. Okay, and we'll start with spine flat on the mat, and your feet are going to be about sit bones distance apart. And we're going to start with a pelvic curl. So how we always start here, just to get the spine moving. And finding yourself to start in your neutral pelvis. So it's going to be weighted between your sit bones and the top of your hip bones. So that space right in between there. And then you're going to just lengthen that tailbone and find a little curl in that tailbone as if it's going to curl up to meet the back of your knees. So finding that little curl, and you'll find that your weight starts to now rest on what would be the top of your back pants pockets. And then you're going to uncurl, bringing that tailbone back to the mat, and then finding again yourself in your neutral pelvis. And we'll take that again. So gently lengthening the tailbone and curling it up towards the back of the knees. Finding that weight now resting on the top of your back pants pockets. And then bringing yourself back down to your neutral. So let's take that a couple more times and we'll add in the breath. So taking a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, finding that curl. Take a nice inhale here at the top of your curl, and as you exhale, see if you can find just a little bit more before setting that back down on the mat. And now, on the next curl, we're going to take this, if it feels comfortable for you, up into a bridge. So you're going to find the height of your pelvic curl. Take your inhale here, and on your exhale, as if your pubic bone were on a little elevator, you're just going to find a little lift. Only as much as feels good for your body right now. And just tuning into the feeling of your back pants pockets moving through your body to meet your front pants pockets. So you've got a little bit now of a stretch for those hip flexors. And then you're going to sink the sternum to melt the spine back down on the mat, letting that pelvic curl be the last thing to unwind and melt back down. And we'll do that again, gently starting with that pelvic curl, finding your inhale, and on your exhale, letting that curl lift up into a bridge. Letting those back pants pockets almost travel through your body to meet your front pants pockets. Let that sternum sink, shoulders drop, before melting back down on the mat. So starting with that throat and sternum, let that start to sink, and let that melt, travel all the way down your spine as it just begins to rest back down. We'll take that one more time. Okay, so now you can go ahead and grab your pair of yoga pants. And holding one leg in each hand, you can either sort of, wrap that middle part, your waistband, up so it's a smooth line, but your foot, you can choose which foot you start with. The ball of your foot, or the middle of your foot, is going to rest right between the legs of your yoga pants. You're going to hold one arm in each hand. And so finding a flex to your foot and reaching through the heel, you're just going to give yourself a little hamstring stretch here. So really letting that leg bone start to sink into the back of the hip socket. And then you're just going to point and flex the foot here. So letting that heel reach up towards the ceiling as the toes point towards your nose. And then you're going to switch, so toes point towards the ceiling. And then again, reverse. So just going back and forth here with that foot flexing and toes pointing, and really feeling how that deepens your hamstring stretch here. And feel how the leg bone just starts to sink even a little bit more into the back of the hip socket. And so hold that foot flex now, and we're going to bring that over to the side. And again, just pointing and flexing, keeping both sides of your pelvis equally weighted onto the mat. Bring that leg back to the center, and now we're going to take that across the body. So find that flex of the foot, bringing that across the body now. And again, letting that leg sink back into the hip socket, and just letting yourself find a couple deep breaths. So really letting this stretch just relax into it a little bit. Back to center here, and we'll take that one more time. Over to the side, pointing and flexing. To the middle, and then across the body. So holding that flex of the foot, reaching towards the ceiling with your heel, feeling that stretch all the way down the back of the leg here. And then you can let that leg go. So bend it with the other leg, and just take a second and feel the difference from side to side. So it might feel now that the side we just worked on feels a little bit heavier. And we'll take that to the other side. So placing your foot and grabbing a pant leg in each hand, and noticing the difference. So each leg is going to feel different. One leg will naturally be tighter than the other. So just meeting it where it's at, and we'll start by pointing and flexing. Again, letting that leg just sink into the back of the hip socket here. And then let's take this now out to the side. Again, keeping both sides of the pelvis equally weighted onto the mat. Pointing and flexing. Really letting your heel reach towards the ceiling, toes reach towards you. And now hold that flex as we take that across the body. Holding that flex here and pausing for a couple deep breaths. So this is always a deeper stretch. So holding that reach through the heel, just letting yourself relax into it a little bit. Bringing your breath into the tight spaces. And we'll do that again. So bringing that back to center. Let's take a couple pointing and flexing here. Over to the side, again, pointing and flexing. And then across the body, so the big one here. Letting yourself, again, just relax into this one for a couple deep breaths. And then back to center. And you can take that leg out of the yoga pants, and you can set the yoga pants aside here. So you're going to stretch one leg straight out, bringing the thigh in, the opposite thigh in. And just take a second, you're going to reach your knee towards you. Opposite heel is going to reach away from you. And just find that reach in both directions here, and then we're gonna switch. Find that reach in both directions. And let's switch. Last time on this side. And then bring your feet flat. Again, let's check in for a moment, take a little pelvic curl, noticing how it feels compared to how it felt last time. And then we're going to just flip over onto all fours. And we're going to finish with a little cat-cow. So finding your wrists beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. And starting with your pelvis, just taking a little pelvic curl here, letting that lead you into a cat. And then again with your pelvis to take you into your cow. One more time here with your pelvis into a cat. And again, leading with your pelvis to take you into a cow. Now coming to a flat back, let's just sink this back into a child's pose here. Letting your fingertips reach straight out in front of you as you sink back into your sit bones. And then let's take this reach to one side, so let both of those fingertips travel towards the right. Breathing into that stretchy side. And then we'll take that over to the left. Breathing into that stretchy side. One more time in the middle. And then coming back all the way up. And you can be all done. So I hope you found this supportive. I hope you feel a little bit looser in your hips and your low back and your hamstrings. And I'll see you back here next time for more tools to help you feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. Take care.